Now we're gonna stare down the clock.
Where's that paperwork for the?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, for pity's sake, hurry up.
It's not until June though. Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Any updates to the agenda?
Yeah, I got something I'm gonna be bringing up here for a allocation for someone on Pleasant Street.
And a construction permit discussion. If you can believe, I actually got after I sent you guys the email late this afternoon.
Okay. Any other updates?
No.
Okay, public comment.
Harris, I think, yeah.
Oh,
Your name?
Harris, Lindsay?
Away.
Okay.
So you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. It's a little, I'm not great at speaking in front of a bunch of people.
So, Harris has an agreement, which is in your packet, if you want to look at it, and then you can explain to him what you're here for.
Okay.
Okay. That's.
Yeah, basically I came down because I can, what you see, I'm going to be coming in on Thursday when I get my paycheck. But, it's just, I was being told that, I'd have to pay $124 a month plus keep up with the current bills. The problem is being low income. For me, it's not possible. I want to come up with something, but I can't afford to pay that. Because I did the math, it's $106 a month for the regular bill plus I can't afford to do that. Because I have an application to try to put in for economic services to see if I can get some help there. And I've sent that in, but I don't know the results of that.
Just to let you know, I mean, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
We have a list here of about 30, I'm gonna say right now, of people who were gonna be turning their water on. And they're not gonna get it turned back on until they pay the bill in full. So, and that's the rule that we have. So I know where you're coming from, but if you can see if you can get help.
I put in an application to see if I can get help there, but.
Yeah, because I know somebody else that did get help.
Yeah.
And they paid her bill in full.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say the name, but
My first question is obviously there's the set rate. It's 124. It's like 108, 109.
106.
No, 10 a month for you.
It's going to be going up.
Yeah.
The three.
It'll be
Actually, so I looked on the account and he owes $12.40, but if he's gonna pay $3.18, that only leaves $9.22 that's gonna be still owed.
right. So the amount just to stay current is the new for water and sewer on the new rates will be 142 divided by 3, correct?
Not all, well, it's gonna be more than 142.
342.
Be 342, and that's what, every 3 months.
Right. So
Correct.
it's 150, roughly 115 a month,
Okay.
just to stay current.
Right.
And after that, after his payment, you drop down to 900 and
922 is what he'll owe.
So it would be 92.
so it would be 92. Is that a doable number? So that would be 115 plus 92 for 200 and
That keeps you current plus pays off the back bill.
Right.
that's about 207 a month. So like the 115 is not going to change. That's just to keep you current.
Right.
That's part of the reason why we need to be moving toward like monthly bit. And that's what I do for myself
Yeah.
is I come in and pay my bill every month.
Yeah, I just went through
Softens
some financial
get-
hardship stuff going down, and then my mortgage has already gone up, and it's to the point to where I'm at the point to where I'm either paying my bills or buying food.
Yeah.
I have to make that decision.
But at least you came in and made an effort.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying. and that's
Because
what I'm trying to do.
everybody on this list was sent out letters and nobody came in.
Yeah, because I came in,
My suggestion is
A month
that,
to keep current until we find out what kind of help you may get.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do 115 a month?
that I could do, yes. And the other thing is, hopefully I get some help, because I was gonna come in, because basically, you know how I get my tax refund once a year. I had to pay off some other bills because I had problems with my furnace, so I was behind on my mortgage. I had to get that caught up. You know, I could do the 115 a month, but I would have to, is it all right if I broke that up weekly?
yes. Yep, honestly,
Because
whatever
it would
works.
just be easier, because we survive off of one income. My wife's a stay-at-home parent, you know, I've got my 4 kids to support, and I gotta, you know, I go to the food shelf once a week, you know, and just trying to make sure that they have enough to eat, because food stamps don't cover everything.
My suggestion is make the payment that you're gonna make.
Oh, I'm gonna make that on
Keep going
Thursday.
out, keep going and asking for the help that you can. Make the 115 a month to stay current.
Yeah, I can
When
do
you
that.
hear back from them,
Yeah,
from whoever the source is,
yeah,
with what they're able to help you with, just stay in communication with us and
okay.
we can work something out. The biggest thing is, and I get it.
Because my problem is like I said, I get that big lump sum once a year, and that's a time that, you know,
Catch up,
I fully catch up.
catch up.
And I usually get that like the end of February, beginning of March. So I'm just trying to work out something where I can just get through, so to show I'm making some type of effort. And
Like I
then,
said, you're the only one that.
Being
yeah,
here,
and once I got that, even if it was just small and was knocking a tiny bit at a time off, I figure out something. And then once I got my taxes, I could come in with, you know, whatever amount is left and just hand it to you in full.
being here is a huge step.
Oh, yes.
So, work on staying current with the 115.
Yeah. Because
If you have to do it weekly, that's fine.
yeah, I usually do that because like,
Yep,
I
it's
don't,
easier.
my paycheck, like, for example, my mortgage, my paycheck isn't enough to cover my full mortgage. I have to break it up.
Mhm.
So I'd have to do that here too.
Yeah.
I would have to come, and it would be on Thursdays because I don't get paid until Thursdays.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's what,
So, you know, it's just trying to make sure that, you know, my family has what they need and I'm able to stay current on my other bills and whatnot. And that's what I was trying to come in here to try to work something out on. Now, I know it's gone up. I was just wondering, is that because of the improvements that have been going around, or I'm just curious of that, because I know it's gone up considerably since.
that's what happens when we kick stuff down the road for a long time, is it winds out going up what we perceive as being a lot, right? And me as a payer, I'm like, oh my Lord. But it's getting into that range where it's going to start leveling out. You're going to see annual increases just because we're running on a shoestring budget and costs go up. Chemical costs go up, labor costs go up, all of that.
Like I said,
stuff.
I'm not coming in to
Yeah.
argue about it. I understand that. I was just
The hope
I was
is-
just curious about,
Yeah, you know,
the
there's
hope
some
is to see
places,
it level out and slow, like be a small increase.
yeah.
Even this year, it's a small.
Oh, I know
increase.
this is better than Barton, because Barton,
there's some places that are paying the
Oh.
318 a month.
my mom was,
In this
or
state-
just her was paying almost 200 a month.
Oh, yeah, there's
How
some
much-
places that are higher than that.
And I mean, I'm a family of 6, so I mean, it's,
Yeah, we're trying to keep it as low as
but
we
yeah,
possibly can.
but I'll be in on the 17th on Thursday, and I'll have the 318. And I'll do that, and then after that, starting in May, I could do 115.
$7 a week.
Hold on. What's that, Mike?
I said on a weekly, it's like 26, well, it's 26.54, but you know, you can make it 27 if it's easier.
Yeah, $27 a week,
Yeah. What I'll even do is I can make it 30.
30.
Yeah, and
$30
then
bucks a
that,
week.
and honestly, at that point, you're putting some toward the back too.
Exactly. And
Or getting yourself ahead so that if something comes crunch time, you've got that cushion.
right.
You
But
just
I figured it'd just be,
tell
it
us how
just
you
shows
want
something that I
that.
showed up here to,
At least you came.
yeah,
appreciate
That
that.
shows an effort.
yeah.
So,
But yes, I will be in with that on Thursday and then I can do the 115 starting in May,
Yep.
because after that, this month, I got my other bills to pay, so I can
Yeah.
start that in May, so,
Breathe, it'll all work out. You'll get there.
yeah. I know, like I said, if I can just kind of limp to,
As long as we're staying current,
Exactly.
right? Because once you get behind, and I've been there, you know, you look at this number and it just seems to get bigger and bigger. And if you're not
Yeah.
at least staying current, that number is never gonna get any smaller.
right,
So
Oh.
work on staying current. Get the
Oh.
help that you can
yeah.
and come back and let us know.
Because I filled out, I just sent it in today. I mailed it, so I don't know, you know, it's gonna be a few days before I
Okay.
hear anything at all, but is that something that we can do for now?
Yep, yep.
Starting in May, I could do 30 a week.
I'm just gonna write that on there so I have it for my
Yep.
records.
And that there's definitely,
So wait, starting in May, 30 a week?
Yeah, because he's paying 318 on
Paying
Thursday.
318.
I'm paying
this Thursday.
318 this
318 gets-
Thursday.
Gets you there.
that's what the
But-
paper said.
Yeah,
The May would, and because the payment that comes in May. When's the next payment? No,
July.
it's July.
yeah.
Yep. I'm always, you know me, I'm always ahead.
No, I get it, I get it.
I didn't want to set you up to already be behind. I wanted to make sure that you were, by the time that next bill comes due, that paying that weekly amount, you have a zero bill. Yeah, that's what I want to make sure that we're not setting
Right,
you up
'cause
to
like the-
continually be
It's like,
behind.
for
It doesn't
example,
work
that
like
three-
that, Heather. The system will apply the payment to the oldest thing, so his bill won't show that way, but
Okay,
it will. I mean, I just know how Municipality's
And
gonna do it. They're always gonna apply it to the oldest. They're not gonna apply it to the new payment, and then it's not how they
Right.
work.
true. Okay,
So,
As long
but
as
so
we're not
long as
losing
it's
ground.
That it's going down
coming
anyways.
in, we're all good.
Yeah,
But-
works for us.
It'll show that it's going down, so.
Right.
Thank you.
And like I said, I'll, obviously, we'll keep in contact, is, like I said, so I'll be stopping in weekly and it'll be in the afternoon, because that's when I get back into town. So I can't stop first thing in the morning because I'm at work, but
Get that.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions on that?
Not right now. I think like I said, I'll see what help I can get and,
Yep, and then just let us know. you
Let us-
call
let
here,
us
And then I can let
Yep.
them know.
yep,
Okay?
okay, Harris,
all right.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, and thank you for hearing
We
me
get it,
out. I
we get it.
appreciate
We
that.
get it.
All right, thank
Any,
you.
any other public comment? I know we have one caller on.
He's part of the.
Okay. Got it. Yep. Do we need to move that to the top?
You want to talk about the allocation now or what?
That way.
Yes,
he doesn't have to
let's,
hang
let's,
out to
let's
the
take
bottom.
care of that now.
Okay, what is this allocation on Pleasant Street? Bring me up to speed. What does that mean? Is that like a new hookup?
Yes.
Okay, that's what that
He can't
means.
he can't start on the sewer until he has paperwork to show the state that he's allocated for money and for water.
Okay,
So he's had the state that's been there, did a perk test, and he's got a design system to put in. But he can't start until he has an allocation for
for water, even though it's a sewer project. So
Correct.
what do we need? We just
And
need,
he has to pay $2,500. After this allocation is granted, he's gonna come in and pay his $2,500 fee to have it hooked up.
and that covers
This,
them
the
being.
shut off has already been installed. When they redid the paving on Pleasant Street,
Okay,
Andy took it upon himself to put a few in and to work with Kurt here, as Zach, I mean, to get these shut offs put in so that we wouldn't be digging up the street every time for somebody new. So we've got what, half a dozen of those that were installed at the time?
On Pleasant Street,
This is the one.
Yep.
Close to 8, I think, huh?
No, I think it was 3 or 4, because there was only so many.
Oh, empty lots. That's what
There
it was.
there was only so many empty lots.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I think it was
Yeah.
like 3 or 4.
So that's,
So we need probably a motion to do this and somebody.
We gotta sign it. Yep.
yeah, sign it. And then he gets paperwork to the state that he's been allocated the water for his new service.
I'm getting some sticky notes. Can I get a motion for the chair to sign the allocation documentation for Michael Messer?
I make a motion that we allocate the water for his new
Do we have
service.
a gallon amount?
Should be on the form.
450 gallons.
It should go in the minutes.
Yeah, it's 450 gallons.
One says 420. Oh, that's the septic design.
Yeah, that's for the septic design. The other one.
Anybody second it?
second that.
All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
We need to figure out what needs to be, because we can add it to the minutes later. Because I think that has to, water allocation, it doesn't have to be on an annual basis, what we're allocating for water.
I signed on the wrong
Well,
line.
we've discussed this before and I forget.
Now what took up- Because we're supposed to track that, I do believe, what we're giving away for water allocations. But I'm pretty sure it's a gallon amount per year. We'll find it out. I mean, we can probably multiply something out there and make it work. But we need to make sure we figure out what that, because that's required by the state now.
You might need to have me re-sign a new one of those second form.
Did we ever remove the allocation that was given to the Catholic rectory when they tore it down? Did we remove that allocation when they tore the rectory down? I thought about that the other day when I drove by the old church.
I don't know how that would work.
If we get
because
rid of an allocation, then it's no problem putting in another allocation in its place.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work, because technically way back in the day, they already paid their allocation.
No, but I mean,
For the
as far as
water.
water usage,
I mean,
Yeah,
we're
but there isn't
removing
like
that
a-
yeah,
allocation.
we're removing one building and putting up another one.
That's right.
But as far as like them not being able to build another rectory, right now it's, you're losing one, adding another one, and then further down the line, you have the rectory back, so now you've got 2 of them.
Well, they would have to need a new water meter and they'd have to have everything because it's all gone.
It'd be a new water meter and all that other stuff, but as far as allocations go, that's, they've already paid for theirs, I believe that'd be set in stone unless if.
I
Do we
would, I
know-
don't, see, I
do
don't,
we
they
know what
didn't do
that-
allocations back then. I mean, that's something new. And so like, I think all the allocations are based on what our unused capacity was whenever that law went into place. So they kind of took what the town had been using and said, okay, everything that's here, that's how much you're using. Now, anything new, you have to take it out of what your reserves are.
Do we
Let's
know
keep
what
track
the
of that.
reserves are?
We do, there is a document someplace. I'll search
Yeah.
through some of Noah's
Okay.
stuff because I know that came up a couple of years ago when this
Yeah, we
started.
talked about it and then it never went, I never heard any more about it.
Well, Noah was supposed to keep track of when we give an allocation, we're supposed to keep track of that. We're supposed to have a roster of, okay, well, if we had, I don't know, 120,000 gallons of water that we are allowed to allocate, we've given away 5. So we have, whatever left. And so we're
Yeah.
supposed to keep track of that.
Okay. I'll look to see what I can find for a document for tracking that can be a live document.
I
Go
don't
from
remember
there.
I know that Noah was working on that and that was, I wasn't really doing that much with the water and sewer yet.
I know we discussed it and I thought we had a figure, but I'd have to go back to see if I could find it in my paperwork and I
I know it's
don't,
probably in the minutes somewhere.
there was a number.
Gotta be something
There was a
somewhere.
number.
And you should also be able to disconnect from the water line. When once when you tear a building down, you should be able to
Reverse that allegation.
reverse the allocation.
Right.
You're not paying, well, you're not tied to $49 a month. But when you want to go build again, you'd have to put in for another allocation.
Correct.
Okay, that's a task to do. I'm gonna go back to public comment because I'm sure you guys here for public comment.
Think so.
Okay,
I have a really high unpaid water bill for my property, but it's in my ex's name. And I got a shut off notice for it, but I'm gonna sue him for the bill. among Many other.
what
bills,
is,
but that's one of them.
what is your name? I'm really sorry.
Oh, my name or the name on the bill?
No, your name. Sorry,
Amanda Tipp.
Amanda.
Yeah,
And then the name on the bill.
John Racy.
What is the name on the bill? I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
John Racy.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's a
How do we
really
go about?
I don't know what the rules are on that. Unfortunately, it. It's in his name, so he's responsible for it. And if he's not making a payment arrangement, technically we would be shutting it off, correct?
Correct.
She said, since I own the house as well, that I'm also responsible for it, but I gave him money for that bill.
This is the stuff that,
Well, we'll have to talk about this.
um. Are you in a position to keep it current right now?
I was hoping to keep it current on the amount that I owe, not the amount that he owes, because I've been behind too since I've lived there.
Are you married to him?
No,
Okay. Who's the house, who's the house name in?
both of us.
What we can do, let me have you, do you have a piece of paper, with her name and email address and discuss this? And figure out what we can and can't do, as well as if. Because whatever the amount, what the details of what's going on is not something that's a concern to us. It's staying current and paying off the back. And our first step is obviously staying current. So we want to make sure you're doing that. And that you're making progress towards your back too,
Yeah.
regardless of what the reason is.
Yeah.
So let's
that would
get
be
your
that would be the
information.
Full bill, not just half the bill.
Right, the
Because if
whole
you're
bill.
living there and your name is on the deed, then you're responsible for the full bill,
Right.
just the same as he is.
And whatever goes on between you guys is going on between you guys. It's not something that's ours. So at the minimum, we would need that monthly payment to stay current
Yeah.
and something making progress toward paying that off.
Yeah, I was hoping to, I had her print out the numbers from when he stopped living in the home and when it was just me. And I was hoping to pay off like my own back due balance and then, not.
But you're still responsible for the full amount.
And then whatever happens between you guys, that's between you guys and how you settle that out. There are, yeah. The best thing is to stay current at the very least. And we'll talk about it. We'll get back in touch with you.
When she gave me the payment plan, it was like it was gonna be like $400 something a month or whatever. So.
I can't.
Are you gonna be able to do that?
The 400, no.
Well, what can you do?
What can you do? If you can put what you can do, keeping in mind that what was the number we came up with? 114, 115
15.
is what's needed to keep you current. If you want to add those numbers to that piece of paper, and we'll just be back in touch.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll be able to pay. I'm just gonna try my best to pay whatever I can.
You can do weekly too.
And so, yeah, we just discussed that.
Yeah, you can do a weekly of that amount. But as we tell everybody, I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, if you say you're gonna do this and you're gonna give us so much money and you start missing payments, we will immediately shut your water off. Just want
And there
to
may
make sure
be-
you understand that.
There may be, I mean, other people have said there are agencies out there that can help with your back, whatever that situation is. I'm not sure.
We get you that one application.
The payment plan.
Nope, did we give you the other one for children and families? That if you made under 31,000? No? Let me see if I can find that, because there's a program through economic services. But if you make under $31,000, I think it's called an IWAP or something like
Oh,
that.
I've heard of that.
There's you,
I've heard of
your
that.
water bill.
There's programs out there that can help.
Let me see if I can find that for you.
We just don't necessarily have access to what all those programs are. But the key is staying current. And that is that 1,415 every month, or was it 27 a week is what we figured out? 26, I didn't
Yeah.
write down the
Yeah,
numbers.
27.
27 a week. And that at least keeps you current and doesn't keep you going back.
Yeah.
See what's out there for help. And do what you can.
Yeah, I just
Like-
want to try to keep it on while everything
It's,
goes on in court and then. There's a good strike. So,
yeah, but in order to do that, you've got to at least be staying current.
Yeah.
And we'll, if you've got your phone number and email address there, and we'll be in touch. I appreciate you coming in.
thank you. Sorry that my
Put that there.
resolution's so bad.
And, I mean, I assume you said you were going to court. So make sure that the judge understands what debts are owed so that he can equally divide it so that he'll be responsible for some of this bill.
Yeah,
And that's the fair thing to do.
yeah.
So make sure you get all your eggs in a row here on your debt, whatever debt you have, so that, I mean, they have counseling too, that you can talk to a lawyer and he'll help you through that process. Just don't go in there by yourself. Please don't do that.
To court,
Yeah,
I think I'll lose.
no, but you just make sure you have all your papers.
Have everything together.
Yeah,
But,
That'll help you a lot.
yeah, I had to print out amount sold and the payments the payments he didn't make more so, but the fact that there wasn't any payments
But
made.
this is a debt, just like your car would be a debt. And so you have to have all that information so that you can present your side too.
we'll be back in touch with you for.
And if you do get some help, let us know so that that'll put you in better graces with us. Okay?
Yeah, the stay current,
Yeah.
at least stay current from here.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll get through the rest of it.
Yep.
And we'll be back in touch.
Not the end of the world.
Okay.
Those just,
Aw,
it's okay.
We've all done.
we've all broken erasers.
They usually just end up with a back end.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for at least showing up.
Well, thank you for hearing me.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to fix a lot of things right now, so.
You'll get there. You'll get there. Have faith. But yeah. Anything else we can do for you right now? We'll
No.
be back in touch on that and,
Okay, yeah,
okay.
Okay.
thank you.
I don't know the details, that was just from council. So the way that it sounds, they will help.
Didn't know they were coming.
I know.
So
I would have put that in an executive session.
Really good.
Let's do that for future. Somehow. I don't know how we can do that, but we'll figure out how to do that.
What? That discussion, you can,
Aye.
we can do an executive session for that.
Yeah, we'll do that in an executive session. Next on our list,
Okay.
we did the allocation. You want to do the construction permit too?
We
Is it the same
can.
things?
What
No,
construction permit?
construction
That's
permit is
not,
for your wastewater treatment plant.
Oh, is,
So we got a notice from Tim Angel at the state that, oh, we got our construction permit for the wastewater treatment facility a year and a half ago, and since we didn't start construction, we need a new one. So, which requires all the design plans and all the other crap. So it pretty much has to go to the engineer, which I got back from the engineer today. It's going to require 4 to 8 hours of their time, which we're going to have to pay.
Is that
So-
going to delay the startup of the
No,
project?
no. She said because they're doing sludge first, that it should be fine. They should be able to have it done and everything. But
Yeah, because I don't want any more
but make sure you
delays.
guys are okay that I'm authorizing another 4 to 8 hours of engineering costs that's going to get added to the bill.
Yeah,
we don't have a choice. So do we need a motion on that
I
one?
would go ahead and make a motion just so that we can to authorize me to have the engineers complete a new construction permit for the wastewater treatment facility.
I make a
Special
motion that we go ahead with Mike's time and effort to put in for a new permit for the project of the wastewater treatment plant so that we can move forward.
Actually build the stupid thing.
Okay,
Nice.
all in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself for 2 minutes. You guys want to go to the next one, which is water leak status? I just need
Oh, yeah.
bio break.
The water leak that we had on Cross Street, that is going to have to be dug up again. When are you planning on doing that?
I haven't, to be honest.
Because you're gonna have to hire that company from Burlington to come and do it.
Yeah, try to hydrovac it to where we don't,
Have to shut off the water.
well, we're gonna be situating our curb stops a little better this time around
Okay,
and not shut off Derby Street again.
yeah, because then we'd have to do a boil notice again.
Y'all, not just that, but I'm sure they're starting to get sick of it.
Okay,
Um,
but can you kind of work on a plan as to when we're going to do this? It would be nicer now because the town's not busy right
Yeah.
now, and we're not in the middle of everybody on vacation coming to town and shutting off a lane and doing everything we're doing.
yeah,
So, and I'm sure now with good weather coming, flaggers are gonna be harder to get. So I'd like to move on this as soon as possible. But
Yeah.
it could be a priority. I would like to see that.
all right.
How about you, Mike?
I'm good. I don't want a 4th of July weekend.
No, we don't want it to, no,
Please don't.
so if you could get back to us, or email us through Roger as to when you're planning on doing this so that we can, and at the same time, we'll have to have paving so we can get it paved right away too.
Yeah,
Because
I don't
we're gonna have
I don't
to, how
think we're
close are
gonna
we
be-
gonna have to go into the street?
I don't think we're gonna have to go too far out in the street. In theory, we shouldn't.
Well, we've disrupted the sidewalk, which is gonna have to
Yeah.
be fixed.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of concrete. We can
Yeah.
Deal with that. As far as. Cause that main line, cause I've got Aaron Perez through Vermont Rural Water coming up. Tomorrow at about 10-ish. We're going to locate a bunch of lines. And I'll have him hit Cross Street too while he is here.
Now, on our records, do we show any other abandoned shut-offs that are still hooked up to the main, but kind of hanging there out in midair in the ground there, waiting to rot away and cause another problem?
No, well,
Is there any
So
way for us to know what where shut-offs?
I believe you're talking about, curb stop shut offs.
Yes,
Not mains.
no, the curb
Um,
stops.
I mean, they're here, there and everywhere. There's.
Was that something that we should start looking at, maybe getting rid of one or two of them a year? Because Wasn't the problem at the Essex House? Wasn't that another shut off that was abandoned and left?
The, oh,
one that was
yes,
on Birch Street.
across the street on
Across the
Birch
street
Street.
on,
Yeah.
that was another abandoned line that, from the curb stop.
That the frost pulled out of the ground.
Yeah, so, you
Um,
know, if we have to start going in and start tackling these things, so this doesn't happen at 20 below zero in the middle of the winter time.
Yeah, I know that I know that there's two at that pavilion. My bad. I know that there's a possibility of three at the pavilion. Just based off of old pictures and very, very old maps.
No, any way that we can find these?
Vermont Rural Water has, the hell is it called? Penetrating radar,
Yeah,
little cart that you push around. You might be able to pick some of them up with that.
well, the reason why I'm asking this too is if we fix the one that broke this winter,
Yeah,
can we tackle another one at the same time so we don't have to pay this company to come up here twice?
yeah.
So wouldn't that be an ample time to do two of them?
Yep. That'd probably work pretty damn good. However, because they're so old, I don't know how well, because we use, make sure I get my wording right. I believe it's direct inductive, tracing.
Yeah,
And I don't know how well that works with, lead goosenecks. And, cause that is
that's the
our,
problem.
yeah.
It was
That's-
weeping.
It's a lead gooseneck that comes down into into like a galvanized threaded pipe contraption, and it goes from there.
Well, within the next, let me ask you this, within the next month, can we get somebody to come over here and see if we can at least find another
Okay.
one?
Yeah.
Couple of them.
Yep,
Couple of
like I
them.
said, I've got Aaron coming up
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And then call this outfit in Burlington and say we're gonna have two, or we're gonna have three of these shut-offs
Yep.
to get rid of.
Yep,
And
I'd
that'll-
like to be able to see if I can find them first.
Yeah.
And then after that, then it's, and we can,
And if we have to move forward on this, you could always have Roger send us an email so that we can vote on it, you know.
We can always have an emergency meeting
Yeah.
if need be.
Yeah.
and if it'd probably work out pretty good to, because there's a valve cluster at the corner of Mill Street of one pipe going down Alder, one going down Mill. And then there, like I said, there's a little valve cluster there. We should, in theory, be able to take and shut those valves off to where everybody else still has water. We could take that valve out and then rip that whole line completely out with an excavator, which will be a lot cheaper rather than a back truck.
Yeah.
And then go past the telephone pole, and also be able to redo that hydrant while we're there with a correct with the correct fittings, because that's all lead solid.
So, question, are we going to need the co-op there to hold that pole again?
Probably,
Okay,
yep,
so you got a lot of coordination to do,
yep,
and I'd like to get this done before the 4th of July.
okay,
You guys agree to that?
Either before 4th of July, or it's gonna have to wait till after Labor Day.
Yeah, I don't want to disrupt Cross Street as little as possible, yeah.
yeah.
Especially when everybody had to suffer through what we went through this winter.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, get a timeline. Don't schedule the week of July 4th.
Mhm. Yep,
All right,
yeah,
get back to us, Zach.
okay.
Oh,
Then on. What else is fucked up?
Are we no longer on the agenda? We're just going through a whole new agenda of stuff that's broken.
Yeah, so also Mike knows, Pleasant Street there. A subcontracted partner from the co-op went to go replace lines or went to go replace poles and found our line. And that's why we had to shut off some of Pleasant Street, Fitzgerald and Derby Street again. And that was based. And we're gonna have to eat that because it was based off of my belief that that water line came up Pleasant Street, which it does. I know where that water line is. But between the top of Pleasant Street to Mr. Fotu's lawn, it starts going into his lawn and starts following everybody's front yard.
Goes
And
through
that's
their
why-
property.
That's why they hit it, is because I thought that it was 3 feet off of the shoulder in the road. So we're gonna have to get that one. What's that?
I said it's all Zach's fault.
Yeah, that one's my fault.
Where was the break?
Still-
Upper Pleasant or
No, the
going up the hill?
Vermont Electric Co-op dug into it.
You know where,
Drilled right through it.
you know where Bill Coates lives?
No.
Bellevue.
Yes,
Yeah,
there.
the yellow house.
Yeah.
Basically his front yard right there.
where they dug.
Yep, yeah, where we were digging.
Alongside the other pole.
Gotcha.
Yeah, their pole, because it was, I think it's a 30-footer, they want to go put in a 40-footer. So their pole, as it sits right now, is just about on top of our pipe, like just a couple inches. And then the pole that they went to go put in, they offset it, so that way they could get their poles in a line. They offset it just a little bit. And because it's a bigger pole, they have to go 10% plus 2 feet. And so when they did, they
Nicked it.
located our water line.
Is that what we're calling it? Locating it?
Yes, yeah.
Is that why everything was shaking?
That was a high pressure line too.
I mean, it 80-ish
Yeah.
PSI, so it's fair.
It's coming from the reservoir.
Yeah.
Do we know, just because that was number 9 on the agenda?
Yeah, I might as
Okay.
well, go.
Right, we're just gonna go through all of it. Do we know what the bill is total on that? Are they, not yet,
Not yet.
are,
I don't think Richard has situated a bill yet. So,
is there any equipment that got broken in this adventure that we're going to be on the hook for?
nope, I talked with their manager, and he's very understanding that, shit happens. Probably not to do it off of base it off belief anymore. And yeah.
I was just gonna say, do we learn anything from this?
Yep,
Okay,
learned a lot.
When we're not sure, can we call Big Safe and have them?
So
Why
that's
bet-
another thing. I don't know how it's explained, Mike. I think you'll have a better.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked to Vermont Electric Co-op, they said, well, you don't participate in dig safe, so we can't use them to find your water lines. And so I was like, we don't? And they said, no, the town of Brighton is not part of dig safe. And then,
what?
and I don't know if that's because we don't know where our shit is. I mean, it's all old. So, I mean, I don't know. Can we become a member of dig safe?
I think that's gonna be an update for tomorrow's agenda if we can figure it out
Is that
between now and
something you can
tomorrow.
Look into, Mike?
Yeah, we can check into it. Because
'Cause
we're
I know-
not, evidently.
So I know that I've
The
got,
town has gotten, never mind, I'm not gonna go there.
because I know that I've got, I know that I've got an ID number through DigSafe. I don't know if it's because they don't, maybe it's not. Because how I presumed it to be was Marty had his number, his ID number, So I'd be using his and they're like, all right, obviously you're not Marty. Let's make a new one. Like, okay. And so I got a new one made for me. And I don't know if maybe it's just adding an account to that with an ID number through Brighton or what, but
You have a phone number to call DigSafe, 1-800,
yeah, it's
Safe.
yeah, it's like.
And then find out-
334-723.
and find out if your number's current. And can we call you when we have a problem that we don't know where one of our water lines is and come out and find it for us?
Yeah, so
There shouldn't be any charge. It's supposed to be free.
they're supposed to be free, absolutely. I know, I've got their phone number. I know that my ID is valid,
Okay,
so I use it. I've been using it quite a bit. Starting to get sick of it, but yeah, really the big thing is I'm just gonna call up Vermont Rule. And until we're on Dig Safe, on with Dig
Yeah, I
Safe,
guess I'll call and find out what we have to do to become a participating entity in Dig Safe.
Yes,
And double check where our stuff is
yep,
until then.
yep,
And even beyond then.
yeah, like I said, with
because they
Aaron,
come to Brighton to do electrical DigSafe.
They do. The electric company is
Is-
part of Dig Safe, but
Right.
what Vermont Electric Co-op said was that the town of Brighton is not. And so
Unbelievable.
they cannot call Dig Safe and have that they will not identify our water or sewer lines.
Well,
Wow.
sewer's going to be kind of hard to do because,
yeah, you have to gain access either through a manhole or into
Right.
someone's basement, and
yeah,
that pisses people off. Into their basement anyways.
but water lines should be fairly
All means
easy for
coming
them
up
to
is
straight
That's all, like I said, that's all.
Rather see the
direct.
water.
Oh, yeah,
than-
contact, yeah.
Came knocking on my door today.
Well, let us why don't you check that out and see if we can become on their list? I mean, I find it hard to believe that we're not part of DigSafe.
I've never
Trust me,
heard of that.
I was a little abrupt with the Vermont Electric guy because I did not know that we had identified the lines, and so I'm kind of like, you owe us to fix all of this damage that was done, and we're gonna have all these bills. And he's like, you identified the water lines. It's not our problem. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to talk to my people. I don't trust this.
Hate
Then I
to-
call Zach
yeah,
and he goes, oh yeah, by the way, yeah.
yeah, hate
And
to
I'm
cool
like,
down your tantrum. Yeah, a little bit of a.
So a little heads up if we ever repeat
yeah,
this.
you might let me know that next time so I don't make a jerk of myself.
Yeah,
Just a little heads up.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we're gonna keep putting this on the agenda till we get things straightened out here. So then
the agenda's gonna have all the stuff on it.
gonna have to, because we've got a lot of stuff to follow up on.
mhm.
Might as well
So,
do the trailer update.
well, wait a minute. Why don't we go to the other broken stuff, the pavement?
Yep,
Oh,
I
yeah.
called Grace, Monday. And she said that, Mark will be getting in contact with me somewhere throughout the week. So.
That's the 105
That's the 105 dig.
dig.
Like I said, I'm just gonna have him come out. Measure everything and, account for whatever he needs. And whatever the state wants for, for a depth on that. Robbie says it's about 4 inches deep is what he wants. Okay,
Now, do we have to give them documentation of what the compaction is going to be on that road, or they don't care?
I doubt it. It's been compacted quite well.
Or the
Yeah.
frost will be out of the ground by the time he gets.
Oh, that frost is completely out of the ground. We tried to compact it where they compacted the. Oh, it wouldn't have been April, it would have been somewhere in March. Tried to compact it with a compactor and it just pulled all the water up. Like,
Nope.
we threw the compactor back into the
That's
bucket and rolled over it a couple times.
Yeah,
So all of that frost is most certainly out of the ground.
that's good.
It is water now.
Oh, also, We had
Keeping
talked
track of
about,
where we're at.
we had talked about putting some fencing around that area, which I really don't care about right now, but I'd like to see that area cleaned up.
Yes, that area will be cleaned up. That yeah, that'll be a job or a couple day job in itself, because that is fucking horrendous over there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad looking.
Yep, looks very sad.
Yeah, I see you moved the pipe, which I appreciate it.
Yep, we went over there and picked that up.
Okay.
And then with the new pipe, I have 40 feet left. That's being sent back to EJP when Rob gets a hold of me
Okay.
on that.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, boy.
Seeing that we're talking about Back Street,
Yeah,
now when are we going to finish the lines that we're supposed to be putting in there? Where the check valves are.
oh, fuck, I don't know.
I mean, this was supposed to be done
Yeah.
when he put in the new pumping station and nothing's progressed.
Mm-hmm.
Hate to put you on the spot, but. I
Is
mean,
that something that we should be putting on here?
I'll get in contact with Roger about that, and I'll
Okay.
see because if anything, what we should do is we should go from the brand new pipe that I put across the road into the valve pit, new valves and everything.
Right.
That way it's all brand new.
Because Mr. Lemire supposedly is sitting on all that material, isn't he?
That I don't know. I don't know.
He told me that he had purchased all that stuff because he was planning on doing it that fall,
Yeah,
and then nothing ever transpired.
yeah.
When was this?
Not last fall, was the fall before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, 'cause that would have been, we got that situated after we got that pump station in. And
because
yeah,
what's gonna happen, everybody's gonna forget about it.
yeah, and
And
then it
then,
gets swept underneath the
and,
rug.
and then there's gonna be another mess there.
Yeah, so might as well make it hate to do it twice, but make it a mess twice while everything's still fucked up, and then, once everything's good in the ground, then we can pave over the top of it.
Okay,
Sounds great. Do you want to go back to the order of the agenda or keep that going?
well, what's he got left?
I think he's done.
He's got trailer update and I believe we have to give him the new rates to update.
No, I'm doing
No,
that.
no, you're
And
doing that?
we've got a rate discussion that we have to have, so.
Okay. So your trailer update.
We got it. He got it.
Nice trailer.
Yeah.
I went to Newport and picked it up for him.
Yep.
It's more than what we expected because the one that we were supposed to get got sold. Because we were too late in getting back to them. But he made good for it. We actually got a better trailer for the same amount of money. Got a spare tire. There was a few other things too that.
The jacks off the back.
Yeah, the jacks off the back, which
a
the
little
other
bit
one,
wider.
and it's a foot wider. So we got a better trailer for the same amount of money. So we did well.
So, my question on that is, I know you and I briefly discussed thoughts on how to outfit it. It makes sense, but do we have any idea what the cost is going to be? Because we need to make sure that we're following processes for making, because that's probably gonna be a pretty big purchase.
Mhm. That I don't know yet, just mainly kind of because those are, that $60,000 is still in a sinking fund for water, right?
No, we had 30 and 30 in each
No, no,
account.
30 and
no,
30
it's
in each
equipment.
account.
And that money that you're spending on the trailer is your equipment, isn't it?
It's equipment money.
Okay, all right.
I don't think that's in any fund. I think that's just in your budget.
It's in the budget.
Yes, it is in the budget.
Okay, all right.
Wanting to make sure that we're not, I don't
Okay, so you've
know
got
what our,
30,000 out of equipment, you got 30,000 in sewer, and then but only
Water.
2,500 in water. Don't ask me why.
That's because we just bought the new trailer.
Or it's 5,000, sorry, 5,000. I gotta get the line right.
no, that's
budgeted.
budget.
You've got
Oh,
35,000.
budgeted.
Right, so not only do we have to watch what we budgeted, we gotta make sure that we're going through the correct purchasing process for anything. I don't know if, so Zach wanted to go over to a place that has everything there and just do it. Are we okay doing that?
That's kind of up to you guys. I mean, that's, I assume there's probably no, is there any other place that does the same thing? You could get a quote from a couple different places, but literally you're not really buying one item. You're buying a
No,
whole,
you're buying a bunch of items.
right. And it's almost kind of like a service that you're paying.
Right.
I mean, I think if the board is okay with it, I don't see why it's not like it's grant money. There's no reimbursement for it. There's none of that. So
Yeah.
there's no
That's what I wanna
requirement
make sure is that when
you-
we do this, it's not gonna impact, because they don't always look at just this, they look at everything as a whole. And I wanna make sure we're good for him to go do that.
Yeah, the lettering, we got a price and Zach is supposed to call him.
I called him today, after
It's
we
gonna
spoke.
it's gonna say Town of Brighton Water and Sewer Department in black letters, nothing fancy. Just laid out on both sides of the trailer. So, and it's under $500.
So we could just do the logo, like, isn't that black and white too? It's one image.
I'd rather see Water and Sewer Department on the side of the trailer.
And so the water and sewer department does have its own logo.
You have your own logo.
Necessary to spend more money on the logo when it's.
It may be
just
the
gonna
same
say
price,
Town of
It's probably
Brighton
the same,
Water and
it's probably the same cost.
probably the
Because
same cost. It's just a single stamp cut.
Well,
Well, it's a machine that cuts it out, but
Yeah,
Cause this is,
because he said the price he gave us was a lot cheaper because it's just letters.
yeah,
And there's no,
No.
no other colors involved, it's just black. He shows a picture of what it's gonna look like, and I think it looks fine.
that works. You wanna see the picture? You want me to hold it up to the camera?
your guy's fault, not mine.
No.
Yeah.
No, I showed Zach and we thought it was plenty good.
Is there room for a logo on there?
We could get the little do you have any spare little decals or you could put on one corner of the trailer or?
I
Like you
think,
have on
I
the
think
truck?
that's honestly sufficient.
As long as it's visible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it tells people what that trailer is, why it's doing there, or, kind of, it's a water sewer problem, and then, we'll put like some little reflector stickers on
Does
it.
does it need to have a thing on it that says boil water notice in your future?
Yeah, boil water. notice. Coming to a neighborhood near your trailer.
I mean, we kill two birds with one stone here.
You see the trailer, you got a boil notice.
People are gonna hate that thing.
I think they already do. So just so we know, do we need a dollar, like, do we need to give him a dollar amount that he, like, don't spend it all?
I would, you guys should probably have some idea what you're spending before you just say, yeah, just go outfit this trailer.
Right. And that's kind of like, just that we know and because we're gonna be some sort of ballpark figure at least.
Yeah, I can get in contact with Johnson and see if they've ever outfitted one of those trailers before. If they have, what exactly went in there, and they should be able to give us like a rough quote of what it should be. In theory.
Yeah. Light tower generator.
And if they can give you like, it would be great if they had a listing of what was included, because if it comes in high and you can't afford all of it, at least you would know what certain things you could probably leave out in the
Yeah.
short term.
Get
And then
these
add
this
them in
year.
next year's budget, but you would have a list of what those items are that you need to add.
And I kind of looked at it with I'm looking at around $500 to $800 to get the shelving built, the workbench to put in, all built out of plywood and 2x4s that we're gonna rip in half to make the shelving. That way you can have all his pipe fittings in there, the Band-Aids that go around the pipes. He'll have all that stuff in the trailer and won't have to be running around to get stuff. And that stuff he already has. We're not buying that special. Already got that stuff in stock.
Yeah.
All right, can we go back to the agenda? Wastewater treatment facility updates?
Yeah, did I go over the budget with, I mean, where we are budget wise on that with you guys? I think I
that
did it with the select
This
board. but I
lovely
don't-
little thing?
Yes, it is that lovely thing.
Okay,
And since you have it in front of you, I don't really have to put it on screen, but our total right now looks at 7.8 million. That's total construction costs. And according to my figures, we have the 7.8 million in funding, and we actually aren't borrowing 100% of what we can borrow. So we should
And
have a little wiggle room.
so it looks if they come in under their estimated time frame of the original thing, we may be saving some money.
We might be. I mean, they're supposed to, when I talked to Laura earlier today, they're supposed to be starting mid-May. And so their goal is that by next May, it's operational. And which would be about 4 to 5 months ahead of schedule, which would save us 4 to 5 months of RPR services at $250 an hour, 40 hour or 36 hours a week or whatever. I mean, it would be considerable what we would save.
okay.
But what we did run into, so on this project, we've had a couple of snags this week. Well, they're not really snags. They're not supposedly weren't going to hold us up right now, but we lost both of our USDA people yesterday that have worked on this since the start. Jonathan Harries and Sean Fielder, who have been our USDA people since we started this project, both were let go by USDA, and yesterday was their last day. So now we've got 2 new people that we don't even know who they are, and they're not in Vermont. So, I'll let you know how that goes.
We'll get through this.
And then the state is holding us up right now on the funding part because I don't know what they're counting, but they're not counting up all of our funding correctly. And they're saying we don't have enough money to do the project. So I just emailed with her again this afternoon and said, well, here's everything I've got. It works.
Haven't we submitted all that paperwork already?
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is, the money that she's leaving off of her budget is money that she told me to include in the budget that they're giving us. So I don't know.
Oh,
So
Feels like we're just spinning our wheels,
yeah, always.
but we'll get through that. Anything else
The
on that
only
before we
other
go on?
I'm not on that, but on the disconnect thing, Zach, I sent you the updated list again this afternoon, a second one. I
A
emailed
second
it to
one.
you. Well, I emailed you twice today with the list of shutoffs that you can start doing tomorrow.
Okay.
But if you take those 2 people off that were in here tonight. Or actually, Harris isn't on there. I took him
Yeah,
off
so-
already. I knew he was coming. Just take off.
So I'd have to believe,
Reese. John Reese, take that
yeah,
one.
John Reese.
Right, just take that one off for now.
That's it.
This one, Bill? Can you come see me?
Yep.
Because I think that was a bad meter read or something. Because this looks like this was a 1/4 bill,
Okay. 90.
because he made one payment. It was, Jonah and Erica's old place,
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
because this was just 1/4's billing.
Okay. Yeah, that is, I do believe that
That's
is
the one we
wrong.
talked about at the last meeting.
No,
Huh, I don't need that.
we just caught this today because we put a payment in.
Okay. I believe Jason Waldo is already off.
Hold on. We want to, we're gonna have to give account numbers, I believe, while we're doing this.
Not
Okay.
really. Water is not. We put their name in the book.
Okay, I just didn't want to, I didn't want to start doing names without,
Yeah. No, I mean, you can do it however you want. If you want to do account numbers.
I'd prefer account numbers.
Okay, I'll do account numbers. So I believe CRD 01240 is
Yeah.
already off. Um.
DER 00530 is off too, isn't it?
Um, say that again.
DER 0056, 530.
Right here.
Yep, that one. That one, let me double check. Because there are a few of them that are off. Yep, that one.
This is
I'll
significant.
double check with that one. I'm gonna be double checking with all of them regardless, but I'm just pointing out a few of them. A few of them that I do believe that I know are off. MEA 04000. I do believe that one's off. I do believe MID 03285 is also off. PLE 01510 is also off. And I know for a fact that WAL 03300 is also off. Because I had a terrible time finding that one because there's so much metal in the yard. I was there for hours.
So now, the
So
rest
the
on,
thing is, we need to be able to go back, Teresa, you and I need to go through the system. They need to get marked in the system that these are disconnected, and we need to add the fee for the disconnect fee onto all of these accounts. And because I don't think they're marked in the system as disconnected.
No, probably not.
And
Also means they're still approved for the bill. So we need
because
to
then they'll
find what
stop popping
day.
up on these
Yeah,
reports
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So that'll also help with the all of the past due balances as well.
Well,
So-
it doesn't
Want a
because we still
flak jacket?
collect it.
No, I'm all set.
so now, I just want to make sure I understand this right now. All the other ones that we're turning off, they will not be turned back on unless they
No, they're paid
pay
in
the
full.
bill in full.
Correct.
Now, if they don't pay the bill, are we going to send another 30-day notice of possibly going up for tax sale?
Well, it goes as a lien on the property then, and then we
Yeah,
would
but you have to do that. You have to send them a
yeah,
letter.
We have to. The thing is, we don't call the tax sale. That's not something we do.
Well, that's what they do in Derby, Newport.
No, the delinquent tax collector has to do the sale. We have to petition her to do that. We don't do that. We just send her the notice
Okay,
that there should be a lien on the property, and she does it when she does tax sales. We don't have that authority to say, you're going to do a tax sale to collect this bill next
So I think
month.
that's what Mark is saying, is are we going to proceed with giving her that list that these need to
I
have?
think we would, I believe we have to wait 30 days.
30 days.
But what I need to find out on this is the state just passed a law where they can't do like a tax lien sale
For
unless
under a
the
certain
bill
amount of
is-
money.
and it has to be over a year old.
Yeah, a year old, that is correct. They have
And
a
I need
year
know
to come
what
up with
are
the
the
money.
requirements for a water bill. You know, is it have the same year old requirement? And
I already talked to the town of Derby Water Department, and that's exactly what they do. After 30 days, if they haven't paid their bill, they send out a letter. And she says, when they send this letter out, you'd be surprised how many of them come in and pay. But those that don't, then they say in the letter that, you're gonna go up for a lien. And after a year, if they don't come up with the money and their water remains shut off, then there's other recourses. It's just the same as I said, they didn't pay their taxes.
right.
And they
we have other
have,
properties We have
They
other
have done it.
properties that are not on this list that are already inactive, that
Oh,
all
yeah.
have big old balances that we should turn those over with it. We'll send them a letter.
Move everything on.
We have to start being consistent
all this
on what
up.
we're going to do here. The
Okay.
days of letting things slide and wait and see attitude, we can't do that anymore.
So we're gonna follow that process that's outlined by the
Yep.
new state law. Good
Yep.
to go there.
That's when-
We've skipped around so much. I think the only thing I've got on here is the water treatment update. Do we have anything on that?
Only that we're going to talk about that on next Wednesday night at the big town meeting, which I think you're all there for one other board or another. So you're going to be there anyway.
Can you warn it as a water and
I
sewer
actually have to
board
put the
for
warning
us?
out for all the boards that you're all going to be there because basically you're all on a million boards. So you're all going to be there for something. We're going to talk, Joel and I are
You're
going to
gonna be
talk
there, right?
about the water treatment options and just get feedback from the people, from the public there.
Yep,
That's all I
And
have on.
what day is this?
The
23rd.
23rd, Wednesday.
6
Next
o'clock.
Wednesday. Hey, we'll feed you even. We're having food.
And on the 26th, if you come rake some wood chips, I'll give you a hot dog too.
I will be doing an SCBA class for the fire
I
department
see that. I see that, Teresa.
all day.
Okay.
Teresa cooking the hot dogs.
No, Teresa has to make all the sandwiches
I have
for
to
next
make all the
Wednesday.
sandwiches too.
She's also cooking the hot dogs for the 26th.
Get away from us.
I'm just saying, she's cooking the hot dogs. Reservoir repair updates.
So, Michael Maynor is talking with the bond bank about what we have to use to get our engineering services agreement. He needed to know, well, what form do they want? And so I've been watching the emails go back and forth, and they're figuring out what they have to do.
Okay, rate update.
Okay, so you have a sheet in your packet about rates. So I went in and loaded the new, base rates for all the different rate structure we've got. And then I went to update the overage because the overage was calculated for water. They took, the $74 divided by 12,000 gallons and voila, that's how we came up with the overage rate. And then for the first 3,000 gallons, then they added 25% for the next 5,000 gallons and then another 25% over that. What they did though is they kept that same rate and added that to sewer as well. Well, sewer's rate is a whole lot higher than water. And so I need to know from you guys, do you want to keep it at the water rate or do you want to go up to the sewer rate, which is considerably higher? Though the sewer costs a lot more to run than the water does. And I do remember having this discussion. That was before you guys were on the board. That was from a previous board. I think you were on there, Mark, but you got,
Yes, I was.
I don't think you got anywhere with that.
Yeah, you remember what I wanted to do?
They were adamant that, oh no, we shouldn't charge anymore. Well, we're rewarding for people for using more water. Whereas
Rates should go up the more you use.
Right.
Like gallon 1 costs you a penny. Gallon 2 costs you 2 pennies. Maybe not exponentially like that, but
Basically, that's what I said at
Yeah.
on the board. Nobody wanted to do what I wanted to do. But that's water under the bridge.
So I'm just looking for you guys. What do you want
as
to
long
do?
as it's under the bridge, not over the bridge. I would prefer that the more you use, the more you pay per gallon. Those heavy users should be paying.
At the sewer rate or the water rate, because sewer is, you would take the 215 for the first 3,000
Sewer
gallons over.
I would go with the
Higher rate,
sewer
go with the sewer rate.
So
Okay.
We have to. I mean,
Could we,
I make a motion.
For that.
hang on,
Zach has a question.
Sorry, Zach.
So with us raising the overage amount, is there any way we could try to bring down the base unit?
Well,
Our
no,
base
because the base
unit right
unit already
now-
includes
Keep it the same. Well, obviously, we can't go any lower.
Oh, I thought you meant like the
Trying to-
gallon
Trying to
usage.
make the new rate a little less than what it is. So that way people, natives and locals around here versus, the commercial businesses, they'll always be using more.
I think you're gonna wind out like maybe you need to see it because we were supposed to put this in last quarter. We might see that more effective next quarter because there's not a lot of those big users, is there? Not enough to make it a noticeable difference for the base rate, I don't think. I'd have to
Yeah, I
look
mean,
at
this
every
doesn't
usage to
make a
know.
huge difference there. We have a few big, I mean, there's a few of the commercial accounts are big users, and yes, they're gonna get hit. We do have a few people, but I think there tend to be people that are renting out how rooms in their house and not actually reporting that as a separate unit. So they're way over on their usage beyond what a typical family would use. When you see a single residence that supposedly has two people using 30,000 gallons a quarter, something's not right. There's obviously more people there, or they have the world's leakiest pipes.
Toilets
And
running,
so
all the
right now
toilets are
they're
running
doing
all the
that.
time.
They're actually saving way more money than the people who are paying 2 units.
I would say see how it goes. I mean, ultimately, yes, it would be awesome if we get the base rate down and make the people that are, but I don't think you're gonna have enough people up there to get that more than $1 or $2.
Okay.
But throw out those numbers and see what
The
happens.
majority of our people don't go over the minimum usage. So, and if they do, they are within 1,000 or 2, which is the same rate. It's the same rate as what the.
And I've asked around people that I know throughout the state and ask them we're still about in the middle of the least amount and the most amount, and Island Pond is still in the middle where we were so everybody has gone up, and so have we, but we're still in the middle of the graph.
Yeah.
What I can
Gotta make
say-
sure that we,
Just
that we
out
put
of
out,
curious, Mike, let
good
everybody.
notices. to
We did,
people.
so the last bills that went out, not the most recent, but the prior one, told them that the rate effective was coming in the next bill.
Yep.
We made a mistake and it didn't go in.
Okay.
I didn't realize you're doing bills already, and I hadn't loaded the new rates
So
in.
they
yeah.
did get a notice that it was coming. And I think we even put what we projected the bill to be.
Yeah.
in it. I forget what the statement was. So that statement was on there. It wasn't a blind side and it was a smaller increase.
Then I would think we'd be able to go through and throw out, notices to people before I go out and meter read and
Just a single
yeah,
notice.
just a single notice of like, hey, by the way, your rates are gonna go up again. Well, not again, but this time
This
they're
is-
actually
this
gonna
is
go
what
up.
you're- How much does a mailing to everybody cost?
Well, let's see. Its stamps are gonna be
78
78 cents a piece.
Will social media and a couple posters be better than nothing?
I think you get enough people talking about it. Yeah, I mean, put a post on
With
Facebook, put it on the
social
website.
media and a
I
couple
think that-
posters?
Yep, I
Well,
like
I
that.
mean, because you guys don't mail out that water quality thing anymore either, because we just put that online.
No, that goes on the website and
Right.
post it up here.
And how'd we do?
You always do really good.
I know.
Quality water. Okay, so we'll do that before the next bills
So,
go
so
out.
you guys are okay with the sewer rate then
Do
for,
we have a motion?
yeah, you probably should make one because
Yeah.
you're setting a rate.
I'll
It's
take-
this right here.
Yeah, that's because everything is the same except for the sewer overage. You already approved everything else on there. I just actually loaded them in.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with the sewer one.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
I
Aye. New rates, and Teresa has those.
It,
And-
it
and
really
Mike,
won't
just-
impact that many of your people.
Mike, just out of curiosity, could you let the board know what you're paying for water and sewer down in your country?
I pay right now, my bill runs around $149 a month. I pay 85 flat rate for sewer, and then my water is a lot. I only get 2,000 gallons included. So I metered everything over 2,000 gallons, and It's hefty.
So, okay, so the only thing I think I have left on here on the agenda, and I think we need to talk about that executive session. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the March 18th meeting.
Make a motion, we accept the agenda, the minutes of the meeting of the last meeting we had.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I believe we need to do a quick executive session to figure out
Need a
this
motion
situation.
to enter executive session under the auspices of VSA 313 to discuss confidential customer accounts. How about that?
Okay, I'll
Sound
take
like
a
a good-
motion to
sound like a
enter
good
under
motion?
VSA. We'll do that. Can I get that motion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Wait a minute.
Who's motioning
Who's
it?
motioning
Oh, I
it?
thought Mike made the motion.
So Mike can't make the
Yeah.
motion.
Oh, that's right.
Somebody needs to make, one of you needs to make the
I'll
motion.
make Mike's motion.
Yeah, I make my, I'll second Mike's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With
Stop
the record, the members of the board and with. And Mike,
And Zach.
Yeah.
Zach can stick
Thanks for
around
coming
too.
in.
I can stick
Look,
around.
we can make Zach stay.
Oh, God.
Is that possible? Can
No.
we?
No
We're not gonna-
overtime.
We're not making you stay. Being
All right,
sarcastic.
all right.
Okay, so you made the motion, you've.
Yeah, we made